Hello everyone, this is Evan and this is going to be a short tutorial explanation on the listing overrides in the PriceYak interface. Today is Wednesday, June 28th, 2017, and I'm going to explain and give ideas, hints, and tips on how to use the PriceYak listing overrides. So here we are in the listing settings, which you get all the necessary tools to handle each listing. Just a few days ago, PriceYak has added to its interface the last override, which is the fixed margin override that you see over here. But let's take it from the beginning and explain what is their intended use. When you set up your store settings, you define the number of items which will be by default available when you list an item. The profit margin or markup, as I'm explaining in my settings video, and the fixed margin in dollars that you see here. So these settings apply to all listings. However, PriceYak also gives you the ability to have settings for each individual listing. The reason being that in many cases you will need to modify these numbers, sometimes temporarily or permanently. So in this video I'm going to explain each override, starting with the in-stock quantity override over here. So when this field is blank, the value is the default value you've set, usually 1 or 2. Remember that if you have an account with low limits, you might set for all your listings the in-stock quantity to 1 and then selectively increase the quantity to certain listings that sell maybe more or that have the tendency to sell more than one each time. So another case might be that a client might ask you to buy a larger quantity, but you don't know exactly when he's going to buy it. So if you go to the eBay listing and edit the quantity, PriceYak will lower it after a few minutes. So if you set it to 1 and then you go to eBay and increase it to 4, it will go back to 1. PriceYak will set it back to 1. So the best way to do it is to come here and edit that number and make it maybe 4 or something like that, and always remember to save, okay? However, you have to remember to come back and change it to the previous number or delete the 4 so that PriceYak will set it again back to the default value. Another reason that this field is useful is when you want to set this number to 0. Okay, set it here to 0. It could be that this item has a limited quantity per week and your account is not allowed to order anymore. So you want to set it to 0 until the quantity available is reset for your account. A second reason, it could be that an item that is low on stock, maybe just one left, and you know that it is very volatile and you want to avoid having to cancel your order due to the item being unavailable by the time you order. Christmas comes to mind in this situation, and certain toys that their quantity could go to 0 in a matter of a few minutes. A third reason is that PriceYak might have set this item out of stock either by mistake or because the buy box does not exist, but prime choices are available. This happens sometimes on the Amazon site. But even if PriceYak has set this item out of stock, you might have an Amazon merchant, for example, that you trust and have worked before, so you want to set this item as available, and you want to set it maybe to 2 or 1. And although not a valid prime option is offered. So in general, there are more reasons that this field might need to be set independently for a specific listing. Whatever the case, this is, as you can understand, this is a very useful override. The next override is the margin percent override, this over here. And as I have explained in a previous video in a lot of detail, this is the markup on the supplier's price. So by changing this field, by increasing or lowering this field, you actually change the amount of profit you're going to have on this listing. This is set as a percentage. So if you write here 10, it's a 10%. So let me give you a couple of examples on why you might want to do that. You might want to start for a certain item at a very low markup, and the more you sell, you might want to increase the markup of your product. I'm using in conjunction with the notes here, with the notes field, to remind me when to increase the percentage. For example, I might write in the notes section, I might write something like that, 111, and then 0.10%, and then 111, and then 0.10%. Now, what does that mean? For me, and of course you can use your own notification, whatever, so that you remember. But every time I sell this item, I go here and I delete this. And the next time I sell another item, I go here and delete this. And the third time, when I delete this, the third time, I go here and increase by 0.10% the margin. Okay, I delete this. And now I know that the next time it's going to be 0.10 or maybe 0.20 or whatever. You can set here whatever you want. I'm just giving you an example of how I've used it in the past. But it's totally up to you. And in this way, you can have a totally customizable pricing strategy for each listing, which can be based on your market research for this product and its competition. Another reason might be that you want to increase or decrease the percentage because you also have another supplier for this item, and you know that you can make extra profit even if you lower the percentage for that particular item. Next override is the fixed margin override. This number is set in dollars, as you can see here. What PriceYak will try to do is the following. It will calculate the profit that you will get from the current settings, and it will add on top of that this fixed amount of dollars. Now, the reasons for using this field are many, but let's say that one reason is if you set the margin percent override to 0, for example here, if you go set it to 0, and you want to make sure that whatever happens, you get at least $10, for example, from a sale, from that specific listing. So you can set this like that. Okay, you can set this to 0, and then you make sure that you get at least $10. And a second reason is that you might also need to set, for example, something like that, 5.99 extra shipping charge. Okay, you set this, you delete this, always remember to save. So in this case, you will charge $5.99 extra. You know that you're going to be charged by $5.99 by shipping charge by your supplier that PriceYak does not monitor. A third reason is is because you want to use it to increase your profit by a set amount each time you sell the item, exactly as we did before with the margin percent override. So you can leave the margin percent override as it is, blank, and you can write here in the notes section, you can write something like 111, $1, and then 111, something like that. It's, totally up to you. 0.50, and so on and so forth. So if you sell it for 3 times, let's say you will come here and you will add $1, and then if you sell it another 3 times, you will add 1.50, and so on. So you can set it exactly as you want. You get the idea. I just wanted to explain in detail what each override does and how you can use each one. However, you are limited only by your imagination, since these fields over here give you a very big independence as to what you can do for each listing. If you have any ideas or other suggestions, please do let me know. So this is it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to be notified of my new posts. If you have any comments or questions, please ask them below and I will try to answer as quickly and as thoroughly as I can. I will see you in the next video. Until then, have a great day with lots of profitable sales.